Happy Tuesday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge for our nightly 9:30 live show where you, the fans, can call in, give us your takes, give us your thoughts. It's Tuesday, and there is some news out of Norman today. The president and the AD have said that they have the right coach in Brent Venables, that this is their coach. And I think everything else now, Jay, can be put to rest on whether or not he's going to be here next year. Unless they're just lying, he's going to be the head coach. So I think it's now what's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball, how many guys are going to leave, who's staying, things like that. Welcome.
Yeah, and I think Bobby kind of hit it nail on the head. I think, we've all been talking about for 4 or 5 weeks now about Brent Venables. And the fact of the matter is, and Bobby's right, they were going to give him another year no matter what. They were. Now, whether fans want that, whatever, it doesn't matter. They were going to do it.
Hey, Michael says I would be stunned if an elite OC walks into this crap show. Dusty said as much today. And guess what? From the beginning, there's been a name that I know Jay has been high on. And I'm going to say that it makes absolute sense. Because if BD were to fail next year and this guy's the OC, it doesn't really matter. I don't think this guy even cares about the future after that. But it is Dan Mullen. It's Dan Mullen.
It's whether or not he wants to leave ESPN. That's all.
It's Dan Mullen. That should be higher.
It's whether or not he wants to get back into coaching. Now, he did. I told you this 3 weeks ago when I said I watched an interview with him, and he brought up his friend Chip Kelly and how he just wanted to go coach ball. And because somebody asked him if he would get back into it, and that's kind of what he said. Chip Kelly didn't want to deal with everything. He just wanted to coach ball, and he went to Ohio State, and that's what he's doing. Listen, I have no clue if Dan Mullen is going to want to do that. But from the get-go, I've been high on Dan Mullen, okay? Now, I will say this. I think this stuff you saw today from Harris and you saw from Josie, Jerm, I know we talked about this off air. This, I think, happened. I think they had meetings early this week based off some Twitter stuff. Based on, if you saw Emmett Jones' tweet 2 days ago about Elevate for 8 and tag Todd Bates in it, I think they had meetings early this week and said basically he's coming back. And that's why I think you saw the Kel Gundy tweets 2 days ago. I think they had meetings and then they're coming out with it publicly now. But I think that's for sure. And now you got to go pay big bucks. I did hear something about Josie saying, we got to bump up whatever we need to do we support Brent. Well, you're going to have to bump up OC's pay, and they're going to have to go get a big dog at OC, or this ain't going to work. And you got to go pay in the portal. You got to get guys out of the portal.
Yeah, I know Jay Johnson has been saying Mullen and Kennedy. Hey, I'm going to say a pretty strong statement, Jay.
Yeah.
I would say Dan Mullen has done more with less than any other OC, maybe in the history of college football.
Jerem, when you look at let me just go through some quarterbacks he coached.
That's a big take.
Let me just go through some quarterbacks he coached. Tim Tebow, Alex Smith. By the way, both those guys were in – Alex Smith was in a BCS Bowl. Tim Tebow, champion. Dak Prescott.
Kyle Trask.
You can go down the list. He's been good with what – he does what most – Jerem, listen. He does what most – really good offensive minds does, and that makes it easy on the quarterback. He plays to the strength of the quarterback. That's what he does. He's a good offensive mind. He coached in the SEC for 15 to 16 years. I mean, there's no question. I think he'd be great.
Bobby, Kyle, you're telling me that what was a Tim Tebow star?
I think he's had talent. I'm just saying he hasn't had like the number one quarterback. I think
back in like 08, Utah went like 13-0 and won the Sugar Bowl. Name their quarterback right now, Bobby. Name their quarterback.
And I know Alex Smith was the number one.
And if you think Alex Smith was the best talent coming out of high school, you're wrong. He got developed by Dan Mullen.
I don't know where he ranked out of high school, Jeremy. I really don't.
Maybe Hunter can find out. Who was the quarterback that led them to 13-0 in the Sugar Bowl? Bobby, who was it?
Do you know?
Yeah, I know it. It wasn't. I thought it was Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson. 2-star. Alex Smith was a 2-star. Now, I do agree the stars are different, but I think Dan Mullen can develop quarterbacks. That's what he's good at.
And that is the thing. You've seen it happen before. If he were to say, I just want to go coach offense, and it failed, he'll just go back and get a job at ESPN, right?
Yeah, and Chief, I don't think Mullen wants to be a head coach. His buddy Chip Kelly's not.
Well, we know, sure, we know for a fact he doesn't like the recruiting part of it. So he wouldn't have to
doesn't like the NIL part either.
Yeah, just go coach offense. That's all I care about.
Go call plays, Dan.
$3 million a year, call plays. How high will OU spend on OC? What do you think they will spend on?
Depends on who it is, Jay.
No, I'm saying if they were going to go get a guy top notch like Will Stein or somebody like, how much do you think they'll actually go?
I think $2 million would be tops.
Well, I think you'd have to go 2.5.
And the way ESPN is, you don't even know if you have a job next year. And yes, Dan Mullen is in Tulsa this week.
I brought this up yesterday.
I know Jay's been checking out flight trackers.
Hey,
Jay, what about that? What about the Gundy tweet today?
That was, hey, I have my own thoughts on the Gundy tweet today. And I'm going to say it here in a little bit, but I would like to know what other people thought about it. I want to know what.
Hey, if you haven't seen
I'm not
Kel
telling
Gundy's
you what
tweet,
I think yet.
If you haven't seen Kel Gundy's tweet, drop it in the chat. Just say, what do you think he meant by that tweet? I'm curious what the fans think.
I'm curious too, Jared. Maybe you should explain what
could Hunter put the tweet a click where they could click and go
I think
to it?
I think Hunter could do it. Maybe, I don't know.
And Jay's got an interesting take on this.
I do.
He's changed my mind.
That's hard to do too, Jared.
It's hard to change my mind.
It's hard to change your mind.
He didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything.
One word.
It was a meme. Is that what you call it? A meme or a GIF? Which one?
It's a meme.
Okay, meme. I don't know the difference between a meme and a GIF. What's the difference?
I don't know, Jay.
Hunter said it's a GIF. So
let's just explain what the GIF was. Here was the GIF. Jay, you want to explain it?
All right. Well, I'll just do it broad, and then you say what you thought it meant, and then I'll say what I thought it meant.
Okay.
It's basically Mike Tyson blindfolded throwing darts at a dartboard. Now, Jerm, you tell me what you thought it meant.
When I first saw the tweet that was sent out, I thought maybe he was saying after what President Harris said about the program that BV's the guy. I thought maybe it was OU's blind that they're going to keep him. However, Jay, and I see Sooner Freak 29 kind of alluding to what you're saying.
Well, if you watch it, Mike Tyson hit the bullseye. What I was thinking is maybe and this is all, guys, this is opinions, okay? It's, what if Kel Gundy's saying, golly, BV can't coach a lick, blind as a bat, and somehow he's going to land the bullseye of an OC still?
And that bullseye would be who, Jay?
Well, I mean, you know who? I mean, I like Dan Mullen. I'm big on Dan Mullen, but any bullseye would be and that's what I don't listen. This is all like my stupid opinion, probably, but I'm just saying it was kind of interesting. Hey, it might mean just a blind person throwing darts at the board and he hits a bullseye. Maybe that's it. I don't know, Jeremy.
What if? Let me just say this right now before we start getting calls on here because the phone lines are open. Let me say this. Do you want a guy who's coaching the SEC, Jason?
I think it would be best.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I would.
What if I told you OU could get a guy who's coaching the SEC and was a head coach in the SEC, took Utah to undefeated seasons, won the Sugar Bowl with Utah, developed elite quarterbacks that became NFL top talent in the NFL? You'd have to be ridiculous to say you didn't want him.
Well, and Chief's asking why, if he's so good, why is it? Well, I don't think there's a lot. I'll tell you this. Florida State wants him as a head coach, like ASAP. If you go look at anything Florida State, they're trying. They want Norvell out. They want either Dion or Mullen as head coach. Okay, I think a lot of people don't think that he would be a OC, and he might not. That's what nobody knows. Would he want to be an OC? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, there's no telling, guys. It's all speculation. Hey, Bobby, Urban Meyer was great. I agree, but he also did call plays, Dan Mullen. So, and he developed quarterbacks.
Yeah,
so
Urban Meyer needed Dan Mullen.
He got Mississippi State to the #1 ranking. I mean, I don't know.
Mississippi State was ranked #1, guys.
Okay, let's get to Chester. What's up, Chester?
I don't have much time. I didn't see that as an actual vote of confidence. I think
from
What
that
the
I think that
president said?
it's either they're hinting that they know they're making a mistake, or they know for a fact they just nailed probably a Will Stein, and that the donors have given a ton of money for NIL coming
Wait,
up.
so you're saying with their statement when they said we have our
Yeah,
guy, they're not
I
talking
think it's
about
just a
Venables?
ploy. I don't know what the correct word is. I think they're just telling you what you want to hear.
But my
Let
question
me
for you,
let
Chester,
me just ask this: is this the normal time for annual Board of Regents meeting, or was this just a quick
I,
announcement? Hey, we're going to do one.
I think it's twofold. Chester,
I
I
thought
think
they
they
were
wanted to
supposed to
make the
meet next
announcement.
week.
Jay, I think they want to make the announcement because you got recruits that are on the board here. You got to figure out what you're doing next year.
Right, and that's the only thing that is probably keeping him here at the moment. But I'm thinking they must have nailed Will Stein. They must have got him. It can't be Dan Mullen. There's just no way.
Wait. Are you saying Will Stein is OC?
It's got to be somebody big time like that. It
Dan
can't
Mullen
be.
is big time.
It could be
Yeah,
anybody.
but hold on,
It's
hold on.
big time.
Yeah, he would be good, but not in NIL. So
I don't think he has to
I'm
be that.
thinking it's going to be a banger, younger OC that knows how to deal with NIL, and I'm thinking maybe the booster says, "Here's 20 million to go buy an offense," but make sure they have. You know what I'm saying? I just don't.
So my question for you, Chester, is when the president and Joe C also echoed the same thing when they said we have our guy.
Is there two games left on the schedule?
Wait,
Yes.
I'm asking Chester. I'm asking
Okay,
you. When
so
they
of course
said
they're going to say that.
no, let me finish. When they said we have our guy, are you saying they said that and their guy is like Will Stein, or are you saying they meant BV?
Yes.
So you're saying it wasn't about BV?
It was asked about BV, Germ. That doesn't make any sense. It was asked about.
I'm just telling. Come on, listen, guys, listen. You don't lose to Texas. He's lost to them 2 out of 3 times, and he didn't lose to them. He got boat raced, right?
What
Absolutely
makes you think
did.
Joe C and Joe
Hang
Bush
on now.
are better than
Hang
BV?
on.
They're not gonna do it.
Not only do you lose to the one team you are supposed to win, I know that sounds crazy to the younger guys, but historically at OU, you must beat Texas, plain and simple. If the coaches don't beat them, they don't stick around long. But the other thing is, the only possible thing could be they must have nailed a Will Stein. I hope it's not Craddock that they're so happy, but I mean, he'd be good, but they had to have nailed a hot, young, maybe it's Kingsbury.
He's not coming to college.
I don't know. They had to have got a young hot shot that knows how to play the portal, and that the boosters have decided, here's 20 million, go buy you an offense.
Who knows? We'll find out soon enough.
Chester, do you really think Will Stein's going to go be an OC at OU?
Well, like I said, it would bring him to the SEC, which is considered the NFL of college football. Yes.
Although the Big Ten has 4 of the top 5 teams right now.
That doesn't matter. Everybody still says the SEC is the top league. Yes.
It's a move in the wrong direction for Will Stein.
How?
He's OC in Oregon.
Yeah. Is that SEC?
I don't think there's. I think there's zero chance. I'll shave my head. I'll
Okay,
brag about
okay.
how right you are. There's
If
zero
you got-
chance
if you
he's
got-
going to be OC. Now, if you're saying a head
How
coach,
many offensive coordinators became head coaches under Bob Stoops?
A lot.
The list goes
A
on. I
lot.
mean, almost practically, hell, I think it was every single one of them, wasn't it? Every one of them. Leach, Mangino.
but you're not
Uh,
saying head
don't-
coach.
I know that. What I'm saying is, if he fixed the offense and they succeed within 1 to 2 years, he'll have a head coach job in the SEC.
He'll
that
have
might be
one
the-
right now this year, I think.
Yeah, true. Maybe it ain't Stein, but it can't be
Here's
Mullen.
the other reason.
There's no way it's Mullen.
Hey,
That would
here's
not
the
help.
Other reason. Here's the other
What?
reason, Chester.
Yes.
There's no way they have Will Stein because they're going to be playing for a national championship.
All right. Other than Stein,
Dan Mullen's doing nothing right now. He can go recruit in 2 weeks.
then maybe it's Shanahan.
He'll be in the playoff too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all speculation. Nobody
It's all
knows.
speculation.
Nobody knows.
The way they're confident, it's got to be a hot shot that's going to play NIL, and they've given them the money for it. Is the only
Yeah,
thing I'm
who
going to
knows?
say.
Who knows?
All right, I gotta
Hey,
go. Y'all have
appreciate
fun.
the talk. Appreciate the talk, Chester.
Way to
Hey,
start it off with.
hey, Bobby, I know they didn't end up number one. They ended up later. They were 10-3. And I know, and Eric and Bobby, that's fine. Okay, if you think Dan Mullen's not very good, that's fine. That's your opinion. Okay, if you don't think he's a good hire, who do you think would be the best hire for this OC? And Eric, I think it's funny that you're bashing Mullen when you want Chip Kelly as a head coach. What's he done as a head coach?
Chip Kelly and Dan Mullen would be exactly about the what Chip Kelly's done. As for calling plays, exactly what Dan Mullen may not be it as a head coach, but the guy can call plays and develop quarterback. Prove me wrong. And I want someone to drop in the comments that and say that he's not a quarterback developer. Just drop it in there.
Eric, Chip Kelly. I like Chip Kelly, but I don't think those two comparisons. Are you kidding me? Pac-12 Oregon versus SEC for 15 years. I mean, I don't care about the two, really, to be honest. I care less about comparing them. And you're right about that, Chief. You're right. He hasn't. But the SEC was way harder than the Pac-12. Come on.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Sooner Freak's calling you out, Jeremy.
Hey, Sooner Freak, call in and call me out. I don't care. Sooner Freak says it's going to be Casey Woods. I don't think that's a bullseye.
Michael, absolutely not.
No.
And I live right here with Arkansas people. And I don't. I think Petrino's really good, but I don't. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying Mullen's the only guy they need to go after. That's not what I'm saying. I just brought it up as I think Mullen would be a good hire. I guess a lot of people in here do not think Mullen would be a good hire.
Hey, Bobby, I want to drop the quote in where Dak Prescott and Kyle Trask said he's not a quarterback developer. I just want to see the quote. I haven't seen it. I'd love for you to drop it in here, bud. Drop it in the comments. I want the quote where Dak Prescott and Kyle Trask said that he was not a quarterback developer. I'll wait for it because I want to see it.
Okie, come on now, bro. You know it's not happening. It's not happening. Mike Gundy, no chance. Frightening truth. OU played Seth Luttrell 1.6. Right
Correct.
now,
that's why I said $2 million.
The highest paid OC in college football is 2.25, I think. And I think that's Chip Kelly, isn't it?
Yes, and hey, let me say this. When do I think it will be made? I think the announcement, depending on who it is, obviously it would have to be right after LSU game. But if it is Dan Mullen, they can make that announcement prior to the last game of the year. They wouldn't have to wait in that case. There's Eric. Eric's funny saying Lincoln's that guy. He's just trying to get things started again. There's no way he believes it. He lost all credibility when he said that.
You know who else is? Hey, Bobby, I guess you know who else isn't a quarterback developer? I mean, Caleb Williams looks pretty bad this year. I guess Lincoln didn't prepare him.
Wait. So they didn't say he wasn't a quarterback developer. Bobby did.
Bobby did.
He didn't ever develop them?
Who would have thought Drake May would be better than Caleb Williams this year?
Alex Smith was the number 1 draft pick, Jay.
I know.
Correct?
That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, we can move on from this. I mean, let's
move on.
I know that Dan Mullen, the recruiting thing, I know all that. Don't believe me. I'm not saying he's the only guy they should go after. That's not what I'm saying.
There's a lot of guys they might go after, Jay.
And I put it in the Discord earlier today, Bobby. I like Arbuckle, 29 years old. I like Arbuckle a lot. I'm just saying you could get Arbuckle on a deal because he's only making $500,000 right now at Washington State. You could get him on a really good deal. But
Okie. Anyone would take Riley back as an OC. We're not saying that. I would take him back as an OC. He's not going to go be an OC. But he's not that guy as a head coach either. He is that guy as an OC. I'll say that.
Dallas is hiring Dion or Lincoln, I think. One of the two.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. What's up, Aaron?
Wait, how is Alex Smith just Urban Meyer?
I don't know. I don't know the history of him, Jerm. I don't. I don't know.
That's one of those things, Bobby, where you give a guy credit when he does good, but if he does bad, it's not that guy's. I like it's weird.
Newtham. Yeah, Mess keeps dropping some funny stuff in here. It's pretty hilarious. But
what was their Halloween costume?
Kelvin, who's the best fit, man? Who's Kelvin saying is the best fit?
I think Kelvin's saying Dan Mullen.
Yeah,
I agree, Benjamin. It is garbage. I was just saying it
why
because
do you keep putting comments about Riley up there? They're on probation, by the way. So
they who's on probation?
USC today.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, 2022 and 2023. Too many analysts coaching ball.
They got
fined and got on some probation type deal. I don't know. Maybe Hunter can drop exactly what their probation is, but they got hit on the wrist today.
Is it hit on the wrist or slapped on the wrist?
I don't know, Jerm. I really don't know. Yeah, that's right. They're on probation and fined $50,000. But what's the probation part? I know they're fined $50,000, but what's the probation? Anyway, probably getting Brennan Marion, Ray says.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get to it. Joe John Finley, we know, is not coming back.
Correct.
So let's just get to it. Top three guys.
We've done this
I know. Let's get people call in and tell us who they think. Give us the one guy they think.
Okay, let's do this. Let's just do this. We'll take a ton of calls the next 40 minutes, but when you call in, just give your three names.
No, one name. The one guy you want.
Okay, the one guy you want. And
why?
Jay?
One guy you want and why? Reader, thanks for the super, bud. Appreciate it. Says it's legitimately unbelievable that that person on here just tried to claim that a quote that said we have our guy was referring to anybody other than Brent Venables. That's just next level.
Yeah, I thought we know it was Brent Venables, Reader. That's why I was questioning what he was saying.
Now, maybe Chester was trying to say we're going to back Bree because we know they're getting this OC. If that's what he was saying, I understand what he's saying, but I don't know if that's what he was saying or not. Jerry says Craddock.
Jay, Will Stein's not even a possibility at OU.
I would agree with that. Restructure and experience on the back end does wonders. I don't know. Are you talking about a contract or what? Jeremy, you're getting called out. Why does this guy always yell? T-Ball says.
Well, T-Ball 75. If you haven't watched our show, maybe you're new here. One, if you are, I appreciate you being on here. I yell every night. This is who I am. This is what I do. Likewise, as mom said, Jay, and it's been a while, miss our mom, but she said, like it or lump it.
Yeah. Hey, we got Zias on the line. What's up, Zias?
How you guys doing?
All right,
good,
man. How are you this Tuesday night?
Doing good. So, my three, well, you said three or one name?
Either one.
Okay. I'm with Chester. I do want Stein, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
When it comes to my three names as of right now would be Arbuckle, so we can get Mateer, the quarterback, to come with him.
That.
Craddock to get, but
Mensa.
only Craddock if we can get Mensa to come along.
Yep.
And then the third name would be either Casey Woods, so he can bring in Jennings, his quarterback, to come with him, or Shanahan at IU. But I want to see how they do against Ohio State first in a couple of weeks.
That is all great stuff. And it sounds like to me you are dead set that they got to bring a portal guy with the OC, don't you?
Yeah, we need competition and we need experience.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. And those you mentioned, I don't know enough about I need to do a little more research on Casey Woods. I did a lot of research on Arbuckle today. Loved what I saw. Just everything about him. I really like him. And I think he would be a good hire. He's a lot more risky than I think, like you talk about, obviously, like I think Mullen, because he's got a lot of experience, but Arbuckle, he might be the next big thing. I mean, it's hard to tell right now, but he looks really good to me. So I out of those three you mentioned, the one I'm the least favorite on is Casey Woods. And I would say followed by Craddock. Arbuckle would be my top out of those three.
I do like Jennings, but hey, Zias, appreciate the call.
Thanks, Zias.
Hey, Ryan says air raid guy or not. Here's something about Dan Mullen that I like, Jay. He's willing to change. I watched a video clip where he said, you know what no one's doing now? No one's huddling. No one's going pro style. I think he's willing to adapt. And that's, I mean, he geeks out on watching film and geeks out on calling plays.
Right. I'm going to say this right now. Listen, I have not done research on it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would be absolutely disgusted with that hire. That's just me.
Yeah.
I just think if you're going to go an up-and-comer guy and you're going to get Casey Woods, I feel like that doesn't do it for me, guys. That's just me.
That's me either, Jay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, what's your thoughts on the whole should have stayed in the Big 12? Because I know a lot of people think that. Here's my thing, though. For money-wise, the SEC is way better. Even when you're losing, you're making more money.
Tell me in 5 to 10 years.
No, I'm saying, Hunter, and I know Hunter's kind of studied that a little bit. The money that the SEC brings in all the sports is way better for the university. I think that's a fact for the university. Now, if we're just talking about winning, that's different. But if we're talking about the university made the right move going to the SEC.
Brennan Marion out of the question?
No, he's not out of the question. Mac Leftwich.
Leftwich, I think, is good too. He's a good up-and-comer guy too. I mean, there's a lot of, here's what I would say. Guys like Casey Wood, Arbuckle, Craddock, Leftwich, Brennan Marion. To me, they're all in the same pile. Okay, and they're like a certain tier. And then you got a couple guys that are a tier above, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I see a lot of.
You got to get the tier above. I mean, really.
Look, for fans, obviously would rather be in the Big 12 and make the playoff every year. But for the university's sake, the SEC was the move. Period. It was.
Clark loved the Big 12. He said. What I think is funny is most people that say go back to the Big 12 were the same people that were saying, man, I'm so happy to be in the SEC. I'm not saying everybody on here. I'm just saying a lot of people wanted to get to the SEC. Now that they're having a bad year, they're like, oh gosh. But they gotta change some things next year. Brent Venables is sticking around. They got to change a lot. You got to go pay money big time in the portal. You got to. You have to go.
KB Longhorn. This is why I think a guy like Dan Mullen makes perfect sense, because if they suck next year, it's Dan Mullen's like, okay, and a young guy who comes in here and they suck, his career's shot.
No, not necessarily.
If their offense is bad,
that's a little over the top.
Okay, if Dan Mullen comes in and BV can't get it done and they fire BV and the next guy comes in and doesn't want to OC as Dan Mullen says, okay, and correct?
I don't know.
Okie long guy. I am not a diehard on Dan Mullen. I'm stating facts.
Nobody knows who they're going to get right now, okay? Benjamin says, I don't see a star quarterback going to the portal. Yeah, there will be guys. There will be guys. Name the best possible. I don't know yet, but there's going to be guys. There will be. You just got to wait. There will be, Benjamin. Because
you're right, Reader, I think Dan Mullen was 1 foot out the door on Florida his last couple of years, okay? And then second of all he's got to do, he doesn't have to go recruit anything except the quarterback. Let the other guys get the other guys. You sit in your room, you call elite plays, you geek out on film, and you get the quarterback right. Period. That's it.
Hey, let's get to Platoon 20. What's up, Platoon 20?
Hey, guys. I wanted to bring up the transition from Big 12 to SEC for a minute. I don't know if you guys remember, but years ago when David Bourne was president at OU, he basically said that OU was going to do whatever Texas decided to do. Like, he made that pretty clear. Now, I don't know if he speaks for all of the regions, that they all feel that way or whatever, but I feel like we're kind of tied to them in the ways that, I don't know if I agree with that. I can understand why they say that, but that was my thoughts. Is if Texas was going to the Pac-12, years ago, then OU would have followed them. That was my impression based on what the leadership at OU was saying. I didn't know if you had heard that or what your thoughts.
Well, Brent Venables and I can't remember the guy. Is it Chris Del Conte are really good friends from Texas? I know it always has seemed to me like that was going to be a package deal. I mean, I think that's always been that way. Whether or not, and thanks for the call, Platoon 20. I mean, whether or not they would have left early or whatever, I don't know. I just think that was always going to be a thing. They weren't splitting the two up. So, correct. Hey, let's get to Coconut Greg. What's up, Coconut Greg?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I wish I could bring a better take on who the next OC would be, but I'll be real with you. The only football game I seek out every week is the OU game. So I don't know enough about these other guys to say who my real opinion is, but this is my thought. There's a lot of questions going around about the amount of money OU really has to make big hires and play the NIL game. I think BV knows he hasn't earned the money he's earning right now in his contract. So why don't we cut him by $1 million a year at least and use that money to go pay the next OC? If we want to play the game, now's the time to throw the money around and go get the best guy. BV, take a pay cut so we can bring in the best guy. Shoot, that's my take on it. I don't know. Maybe it's crazy, but
hey, Greg, it's an interesting thought. And what about this too? What if this is just a scenario? I no clue on this. It's just a scenario. Say they're sitting down around their offices Monday, and Joe C. and Harris and BV's talking about the buyout and everything. BV could be like, well, take whatever you would give me as a buyout. Just think how much of that could go towards. I mean, I can just see the negotiating, right? Like, man, we could use that money and blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I see your point on, hey, I'll take $1 million pay, whatever. I mean, yeah. I don't know, but they got to do something as far as NIL and everything, because they're going to have to pay OC. They're going to have to pay up players to change things.
Yeah, and what has always been kind of weird for me is how we don't exactly know the true NIL situation at our own school. It's like, do we have the money? Do we not? Because there's these other schools around here that are paying loads of money for players that OU seems to not be doing. It's like, are we that guy or are we not? I don't know. But yeah, maybe come up with a creative solution. The guys behind the scenes can do that, because I think the quickest way to do that is, have BV take a pay cut so we can bring in the best guy. Is that going to happen? I doubt it, but
yeah, it's not going to.
You see it sometimes with I'm trying to think in sports when a guy has taken a pay cut.
Professional.
It's happened some. Coaches
in the professional ranks, Jeremy.
In the professional ranks, which is what college football is nowadays.
True. Hey, thanks, Greg.
Always. See ya.
Appreciate it.
See you,
hey, Ryan asked in here earlier about who makes the decision on an OC with Brent Venables. Is it just Brent Venables or other guy? That's a great question. I don't right now. I can't say that I am so totally sold that I trust BV to make the hire, but after the Seth Luttrell hire, how could you?
Hey, and Benjamin, you're right. Day late and $1 short, and I gave a spiel on this a few weeks ago. I said OU, I think, thought we're Oklahoma. We're Oklahoma. Well, now you got to have money and be.
You also got to realize the way Brent Venables and OU has set it up. Every player gets paid, and that's different than a lot of schools.
I don't know if it's different now. Getting paid the same, it is.
It's different. You can't tell me everybody on Ohio State's getting paid or Oregon. They're not all.
They're all getting paid, but maybe not the same amount.
I don't think
yes, they are, Jay.
I don't think the preferred walk-ons and stuff are.
Well, you don't know how much the PWOs are getting at OU, Jay.
I don't know. I just say they're getting paid. I don't know how much, Jeremy. You're right. I don't know.
Every college athlete's getting paid.
I don't think so, Jeremy.
Okay, well, I think you're wrong, because I actually know. Jay, I know college track athletes that are getting NIL deals.
And are they good?
They're walk-ons. I know several walk-ons.
NIL deal as far as doing a commercial or something, or actually getting paid to play? Which one?
And Hunter says PWOs aren't even getting money from university.
Yeah, they are. It's from a collective. That's what I'm talking about, Hunter. Collectives, NIL, buddy. What are you talking about, Hunter? What are you talking about, Hunter?
He's saying at OU they are getting paid.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Jerm. Other schools are not. Thank you. Jeez.
Thank you. Okay, right now, Jay, tell me them.
Jeremy, I have no clue, man.
Tell me who's not paying players. I want to know it. You
I think
claim to know it.
Jeremy, I think out of the 130, whatever it is, power division.
Bobby said there's several schools that aren't. Only 5 schools do it. Who are the 5 that do it? And
Sure, he's right. Not many people do the preferred walk-on pay thing. Jeez.
I'm asking how you know this. Did you read Wikipedia?
Jeremy, it's
Hunter, get on here
known.
right now. Hunter, get on here right now. You say Bobby's right and tell me how you know it. Are you guys in other places?
Bobby says it came from the guy we had on. So probably Brian Bedford.
I did not hear Brian Bedford say other
Jerm,
schools.
it's a known thing. Jerm, it's a known thing. Not everybody does what OU does. I don't know why you're so.
I agree. Not everyone does what OU does. I agree.
You're going to die on a
agree.
hill.
Not everyone does. Not everyone does what OU does. I agree. But how do you know what other schools do? Is my question.
You come at me. Why? How do you know that? Well, how do you know what you know, Jerm? I mean, it's kind of silly.
I don't know. I'm not saying I know anything about other schools. I guess you're following all the universities is my question.
What? I'm following all the universities.
All I know is OU, and I don't know it very well.
Jeremy, you've heard people from OU say what OU does with PWOs is different. A lot of people have said that. I'm going to drop it again, KB, here. Let me.
What does OU do with PWOs? I want to know.
What do they do with PWOs? I thought it was everybody got $50,000. Wasn't that it at first? I don't know exactly.
That's nothing, man.
Well, times that by a certain amount of people. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying that's nothing.
Jeremy,
my blood pressure is great right now.
You know what? I'm happy you haven't had a Red Bull in a while.
Yeah, Danny Stutzman paid him. How about that?
That was the walk-ons.
Well, that's PWOs.
There's preferred walk-ons, then there's walk-ons. I just dropped it in there again. There's a StreamYard link if you want to call in. There we got it.
Who we got?
We got KB on the line. What's up, KB Longhorn?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I believe everything. I agree with everything y'all are saying with the OC. My biggest thing is I still think it trickles down from the top. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
Yeah. You know, I think there may be more problems than just the OC you had. It may be just a whole not being able to manage the whole system.
I agree.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm with you, KB.
But that $44 million is something hard to chew on for any college.
It is. And I think if this was before NIL, you might have an easier time making that decision. But with all the stuff you're paying for and all that, I think it's hard to just pay that $44 million, although it does come from boosters. I mean,
sure.
And KB, the reason even tonight when we got on here, after the president and AD said what they said, it's just a waste of time to talk about who the next head coach is going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be BV.
KB, let me ask you this.
Because that's what the OC, the new OC's got to think about when they come in, especially if they're looking to advance. Like you said, Dan Mullen, he doesn't have that much to lose.
Exactly.
But another coach would.
Hey, KB, let me ask you this, because I think I do agree with Bobby on this. When we were talking about BV, you know, I've mentioned before, I think he hasn't done enough to keep his job. Okay. But I think Bobby made a great point last week when he did say that if there were like big time coaches available, maybe they make a move right now. But this is almost like, you know, how years the draft isn't very good at quarterback. This is a year as far as head coaches, you look out there and it's like there's not.
I don't like that take at all.
No. What I'm saying, no. Listen, Jerm, I agree. I would still make the move and go risk somebody. I'm just saying, Bobby made the point that there's not like an actual like big home run guy. He didn't think.
See, I agree. I think it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. It's one of those deals where if you keep him, you're probably just extending your misery another year or two. But at the same time, if you eat the $44 million and make a bad hire, you've done the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's risky either way. Way.
Yeah. So it's just you got to pick your poison. What do you want to do? You just want to eat it and go, or wait till you think you can make that hire?
Yeah.
Agreed. I agree. Hey,
and that's a tough decision.
It's a very tough decision.
Very
yeah.
tough.
All right, gentlemen,
Thanks,
y'all have a good
KB.
evening.
Hey, thanks, KB. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Hey, let me get to this, Ricky. You guys think Arnold gets the same amount? That's something that always intrigued me with NILs. If a guy doesn't have a good year, do they lose money, or is that like their base? I would think you have to renegotiate that every year, right?
And they shouldn't give him the same amount.
Now, Hunter, drop the buyout. Drop the buyout.
What is Dan Mullen's buyout? Because if he takes another job, obviously he loses that.
Yeah, I wonder what it is right now.
Yeah, Nick Saban won't touch another university or the NIL. Won't do it. He is making one. Oh, so he's better off coaching again.
Why? What is it? What's the buyout?
$1 million through 2027.
$1 million. It's $12 million. So
Over
it's $2 million
years.
a year. It's $2 million a year.
Oh, I thought someone said $1 million a year.
But so what is? I don't understand the buyout on that because he's working for ESPN. Does that not do anything with his buyout?
It's about coaching, Jay. You can't once you take another coaching job, I believe. Different industry, yeah.
Frightening says,
guys, listen, Dan Mullen it's not about money. If he wants the job, he's going to do it because he wants to get back in coaching.
Yeah, he doesn't need money.
Once a coach, always a coach.
I may go up to that TU game on Thursday.
Interview him, Jay?
Yeah.
Take the Sooner Surge shirt and just, hey, what's up, Dan? Let me pick your brain for a minute.
Bobby, that is not true.
I do not think it's that high.
Bobby, no chance, bud. Zero chance. And Frightening Truth said $6 million in the first 30 days and $1 million until 27.
Yeah, so $6 million up front. So he's only getting $1 million per year right now, which means better off coaching.
There's no chance he gets $6 million at ESPN a year. No chance.
No, I don't think so.
I would be shocked at that.
Hey, what's up, Okie Lawn guy? We are live.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Good.
This is an interesting question to think about. What if our current head coach was not Brent Venables and it was just some other guy that was not like
bye? He'd be gone.
Is he getting fired or is he getting another year?
Yes, 100%.
He's gone. Easily.
Hey, okay, I've talked about this before. If his name was not Brent Venables, he wasn't an OU guy, he's gone right now.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? I mean, he's going to be probably 1-7 in the SEC this year, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I just had to bring that. I was curious of your thoughts. I mean, I agree with you guys because I agree that that they're showing him the door, and the fans are like, "Why is he here? That was the dumbest hire ever," you know. So I just think with Brent Venables, he's just getting the. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's just getting that extra year just because.
It's 100%.
It's like when you hire somebody you know or you're friends with or your family with, it's harder to cut ties with them.
So do you think it was a bad hire in the beginning then? Because you knew you might.
It looks like it.
It looks like it now. It was the safe hire. It was a safe hire, they thought.
I mean, it's kind of like you was saying, if you were a CEO of a company, are you going to hire your friend or are you going to hire best the money can buy?
Here's what I think is different, though, Okilonga. I think they thought, gosh, he had been doing the DC so long, he's ready for a job. My whole thing all along has been, is he ready for the monster of OU or did he need another job, head coaching job first? You know what I mean? I mean, go look at Steve Sarkis, other guys that have taken 2 or 3 jobs before they got to the job that they really are starting to do really well at. I think he needed maybe he needed like I don't know. I don't want to call any schools out, but like a smaller animal to deal with in the University of Oklahoma. I don't know.
Tulsa?
Hey, Okie Lawn guy, I actually think BV was and people won't say this, it was a safe hire, and in the same sentence, it was the most risky hire you could have. He's never been a head coach before.
Yeah, I agree. Never been a head coach. Very successful defense coordinator. I mean, like, I think everybody would say this. We love what BV stands for. Like,
correct.
That, no one can disagree with that, right? We love what he stands for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I think the donors are going to stop giving money if they don't see wins and losses. I mean, people say, no, we like what Brent Venables stands for. That's why he's our guy. But at the end of the day, really, it's about wins and losses, unfortunately. Just because he's creating good men who are going to be successful out in the world. I mean, you and I both the world needs better people, right? I mean, we can just look
That's
around
right.
and just see that.
What
Yeah.
the world
Hey,
needs now.
hey, stop. Hey, Okie.
We
The point that Greg brought, stop singing, Jeremy. The point that Greg brought up, I think there's a couple of things that you're kind of saying, but I'm going to take it a step further.
Okay.
You know, the defense, they did want somebody that was going to coach defense. And here's the other one. If anybody ever has been broken up with, the Lincoln Riley thing, they wanted somebody that wouldn't leave OU. Guarantee you, they said, if we go get Brent Venables, he succeeds. He's never going anywhere. They felt shafted. And they were like, let's just BV. It's almost like, do you remember when Tulsa hired who's that basketball coach they hired that was Phillips?
John Phillips.
John Phillips.
Same situation. We're going to go hire him. He'll never leave the university. And then after 5 years, I'm like, please leave, John. Please. You're tearing the university. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Hey, thanks for the call, Okie Long guy.
And I think it's going to become even more difficult. Let's say the OC doesn't work out. What else are they going to throw out there? Okay, maybe he needs another year. You know, it's just like, how long are we going to make this thing go on? So I don't know. It's interesting to think. It's going to make this.
I don't think after next year, I mean, the injuries they're leaning on this year and everything, first year in the SEC, there's going to be nowhere to hide next year if they pull another 5-7.
Yeah. Well,
there's no.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. So
appreciate it.
Hey,
thanks, Okie.
Again, go Sepulpa, right?
Yeah, playoff season.
You guys got
home game versus Lawton Ike. You guys have a bye, so
yeah, it'll be Owassa in the finals. Hey,
wait, real quick. The Force. Our dad was a store manager at Skaggs Alpha Beta. Curious if you guys work together.
I think Dad worked with Starks, actually. I believe he did.
I'd love for you to email us at ousportsroundup@gmail.com. ousportsroundup@gmail.com. Drop it in there which location you're at. I'd love to see if our dad maybe knows you, man.
Why are people tripping? I'd like to know what Frightening Truth's talking about. Hey, let's get to Platoon 20. What's up?
Hey, I wanted to call back in for a second. Jay, I think you hit on something that is spot on and that a lot of people don't recognize. I think OU's leadership, when they're looking for hires, they're hiring scared, right? They're trying to get guys that aren't anybody. Well, if you're in a successful program, you know, these guys are going to go. You have to be comfortable with going after people, even if you know they're going to leave in a few years, right? I mean, if we get an elite coach and the NFL coaches start calling, I mean, he might leave the NFL. Our leadership can't run scared from that. They go, well, if this guy's really good, he's going to leave us. I mean, that's a loser mentality. You go and the best people you can possibly get.
You're right. And I think I've seen people talk about Joe C on here. Joe C, I mean, a lot of his hires early on were kind of like risky. I do kind of feel like lately they've been a little more safe.
Yeah, and the same mentality goes for the head coach, right? As a head coach at a program like OU, you know, you have to be comfortable with the idea that if you got a successful OC, he's going to be there for a couple of years and leave, right? And you have to be ready to handle that. You know, I mean, I think Nick Saban, who lost 7 or 8 OCs, but then they'd stay there for a couple of years and they're gone, and he had no problem just getting the next elite guy and putting him up. And so we have to find a candidate that's comfortable with that, because if they're hiring scared or trying to find people that are loyal or not going to leave, we're just going to end up in the same loop over and over again. So,
yeah. Hey, thanks, Platoon. Hey, Germ, one thing, I guarantee you, Brent Venables killed the interview for OU. I promise you. He went in there, listen.
And he's done a great job with the defense.
Wait, he's changed the defense. He the culture thing, and he probably, which was probably a selling point for the job, was physically, I don't think OU's SEC ready. I can get him there. And defensively they have, offensively they haven't. And This is why I've said what I've said about BV. I think you cannot forgive the Seth Luttrell hire. It was such a bad hire. I mean, it was such a bad hire going in the SEC. How? I mean, I just every night I'm like, how did they make that hire? Some things are just you can't.
Hey,
that screwed it, man.
Question. I know Greg God says mid defense, whatever. My question is, I think everyone on here would agree OU's defense is way better tackling and hitting than they've been in years.
Yeah.
Their aggressiveness towards the ball, all that stuff. Hey, someone said you're so fiend, Jay. I've got to make an announcement.
Hey, real quick.
I got a special announcement. Breaking news.
Well, can I say something to Eric real quick?
Yeah.
Eric, that's what Steve Sarkisian says all the time, too. A lot of coaches say it. So,
yeah,
I mean,
it's not just
I think BV believes it more than a lot of people, but everybody says it. So it's not the statement that bothers me. Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
I had a bucket list item, and last week I was just inspired. And so I've started it. I've started a bucket list item. I started yesterday, and I'm hoping to be done in a year.
Where's this going?
I'm writing my own children's book.
Really?
Yes. I'm working on a publisher. It's going to take me about a year, and I've got the title today. I came up with the title today, just sitting there at school. It hit me. It's going to be about moral and lessons. It's going to be about how failure is good after this OU football season. Here's the title. Fiend's Fantastic Failure. That's the title.
Fiend?
Fiend's Fantastic
Is
Failure.
that a name of a boy in the book or something?
It's going to be the main character.
Fiend?
Yes, it's going to be elite.
Oh,
Fiend's
wow.
Fantastic Failure. Failure is good. It's going to be a great moral lesson. Be ready. In a year, you'll see it.
Is it a rhyme book? Because you got 3 F's in the title. Is it like?
No, I just wanted that as a title.
George wants to pre-order it right now, Jerm.
Hey, it's going to take.
Whole
I don't
thing
know how
written
many
in capital
chapters I'm
letters.
going to have. It's going to be top notch. Okay.
If you need a character to like base the Fiend person off of, I'm here for you.
I don't need you, Jay.
Oh, okay. Wow. Unhitch the Wagon 3.0. Won't sell. You need a new book title, Kelvin says.
It's funny you guys think I'm kidding, but it's I'm not kidding.
So
I'm working on the cover.
how quick will you have this book released?
It's probably going to take me a year to write it, Jay.
Really?
You know, I'm on here every night for an hour, so.
Nice. I'm interested to hear this book, Jerm. So
I know you are. Title's intriguing.
So are you saying you're going to be leaving here to go write books? You're going to leave the Surge for an hour and write books instead for an hour?
No, I'm be on the Surge every night, and then in my spare time, write it.
Yeah. He doesn't need me, guys. He doesn't.
Dan Mullen's the guy.
Hey, there's a lot of guys that could be the guy. Nobody knows who the guy is. We'll find out when. I think somebody asked earlier, when is the hire made? How many more days is it till signing day? 20. What are we at? 21? I can't do the calculation. I'm not a math guy. Somebody tell me how many days we are to signing day. Somebody will drop it in real quick. I think like December 1st. So what is when he thinks somebody will be hired, Bobby.
Hey, let me ask you this, Bobby. If it were, let's just say it were to be Dan Mullen and Mark, I have those books. My son got one for Christmas one year. Hey, if it is Dan Mullen, let's just say big if. Don't you think they can make that announcement before the last game?
They won't make any announcement until December 1st, probably.
Jay, if I were to leave the channel, who's the replacement for me? Would it be Jay Johnson? Would it be Eric? Would it be Okie Lawn Guy? Would it be John McElwain?
You're talking a Surgeaholic?
Would it be Bobby? Who would it be, man?
It would have to be somebody who screams their head off, Jerm.
Yeah.
And passionate. So, yeah.
I mean, obviously, it would be Hunter before that, but.
Jerem, you're irreplaceable. Is that what you want me to say?
No.
Yeah, Eric
speaking in third person is elite.
KB will
Kelvin
do it.
speaking in the third person too. At least KB says first person.
Yeah. Hey, Caravan, I disagree with you on this because I I think he can change it up. Here's what you got to ask yourself. Truly, this is a great point that we would probably take in tomorrow night. But if you want to really ask the question of who the OC should be, and I think maybe somebody put it in there, should it be an air raid guy or should it not be in the SEC? Name the air raid guys in the SEC that have won championships, SEC championships.
Joe
Brady.
Joe Brady for sure.
Would that be it?
I think you could argue that some of those Bama teams were throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game.
And I agree. I would rather not have an air raid guy, but I think a little more multiple. Bobby, this is
here's the deal. Doesn't have to recruit anything but a quarterback.
Okay, but Jerm, listen, yes, you do. You still have to recruit some. This is a fair argument, Bobby. It's a fair argument. So
why would you have to recruit any other position?
No, but you have to be involved in recruiting a little bit. It's a fair argument. I get it. Now,
who's going to recruit the receivers?
What's that?
You only got to recruit the quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but I know, but
and I think Dan Mullen would switch and go other offenses. I don't think.
Hey, Kelvin, the schedule's out and it's harder next year because they replaced Michigan with one of the non-conference games. The SEC games stay the same. You just switch which ones were road and which ones were home, and then they got Michigan added.
So they're going to South Carolina next year. They're going to Tennessee next year.
Going to Bama.
They're going to Bama next year.
Ole Miss is at home.
LSU's at home.
Yeah. So Jimmy says just a quarterback. 6-6. Eric's dropping next year's record already. It's going to be a hard year. It's a very difficult schedule next year. And you got Michigan. So it's brutal. It's brutal. They will not play. I don't know what.
Hey, your biggest recruiter is. You know who the best recruiter is? I'll give you guys 3 minutes and you won't be able to guess it.
Yeah,
I'll give you the initials. BF.
BF.
Best recruiter there is that you should go. That it's the only way you're going to get these guys.
BF.
Yes. It's a trivia question for the night. It's the best recruiter.
Ask the question again.
Best recruiter on the planet. Initials BF.
Right now, the best recruiter?
Absolutely.
Is Mark right?
No. Best friend. What is this? My buddy? My
Big
buddy.
fiend.
My buddy.
Big
the Force gets it. It's Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
You got it. Have you ever seen BFG? That's a good movie.
I don't think I have.
About the giant?
I have not. You already asked me. I said no. I know what it's about. I haven't seen it. Okie says 7.
Gets it, man. The Force. Also, Skaggs Alpha Beta in Tulsa. I'd love to know which store you're at because our dad was a store manager. By the way, our dad hired Brent Venables as a sacker in Salina, Kansas at Skaggs Alpha Beta.
That's right.
That's a fact. Do you get that anywhere else? No, only the Sooner Surge.
No trumpet tonight, right, Jerm?
I have it. I could play a little Stand By Me for BV staying, but I'm not.
Don't do Stand By Me.
I'm not.
Now, we shouldn't have brought it up because now people are going to be hollering for it. Salina, Texas.
Yeah, big friendly giant, elite stuff. The Chieftains are at home Friday night. That is correct.
Remember Sackers? Oh,
you used to have Sackers and cashiers. It was crazy world. Hey, I bet BV was absolutely elite too. Just how cordial he is. I bet he was elite. People person.
Yeah.
Well, hey, tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow we got the OU Sooner Surge live, and then after that we'll have the Thunder Forum live. So appreciate everyone. It was a fun night talking about, kind of the announcement where it sounds like they're backing BV, and fun talking with you guys tonight. We appreciate everyone that's a part of this each and every night. We really do. We appreciate it. We appreciate you, each of you. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for being active in the chat. Thanks to Hunter for running the chat. like he always does. Goated at that. Appreciate you all. We will see you all
Thanks
tomorrow night.
Also, Reader, appreciate the super tonight, bud.
Yeah, thanks for the
Appreciate
super.
it.
And check out the Fan Stop, guys. thefanstop.com. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Wednesday.